Hello, I'd like to thank you all for inviting us here tonight. I'm Doug Lloyd. I'm the president and CEO of Lloyd's Electric over on Oak Ridge Highway. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am not your typical politician. This is my first attempt to run for public office, and thus far it's going pretty well. As a business person, I set a budget for the campaign. I raised the funds and made the budget. So far, everything's on track. We need city government to operate like that. They need to set their budget and be able to stick to it without, as Jeff said, running around and saying we need more money every day. I'm a family man. I've been married to that lady right over there for 48 years. We have one child and 4 grandchildren. And like a lot of folks, I kind of look at it at my age right now. We spend the first third of our adult life raising our families, getting married, establishing ourselves. We spend the second third of our lives establishing our careers and building our businesses or what have you. And if we're lucky, we take that last third and apply ourselves to the community and see what we can do to make it a little better for everybody else. I also, I'm a business owner, as I said, for 43 years. I've been running Lloyd's Electric. That means I've been making payroll and building a budget, sticking to a budget, dealing with clients, dealing with employees, which is a real trip these days. In some cases, we have dealt with the same families, especially in the commercial side of things, for since the inception of our business. In some cases, I'm into my 3rd generation of business owners. I've spent the last 4 years working with Knoxville County Board of Zoning Appeals. So I know a little bit more about zoning than the average guy off the street. We hear the cases where our folks need their property rezoned for various reasons, or they're going to build an addition or whatever, and maybe they need their setbacks changed. We had a meeting yesterday, easiest meeting ever, only 2 cases. Worst meeting was 18 cases in one afternoon. We didn't get out there to wait that night. I found it very fulfilling to be able to work with property owners. You know, if these folks that come in there, it might seem to be a little thing to everybody else, but if they're just wanting to build a garage or a playroom or an addition, that's their dream, and they're going up against the county. And if we can listen to the property owner, this is the guy who has made the investment to buy the property, he pays his taxes, why wouldn't we help him? So I'll try my very best to make the most intelligent decision I can to try to make everybody happy. But ultimately, I try to please the property owner. I've spent the last few months knocking on doors and talking to people. From the time I started walking around the neighborhood, gathering my signatures, up through the last week, we've been out and about, knocking on doors, putting up signs. And everybody, you know, if you talk to these folks in 3rd District, much of their stories are much alike. They're very interested in things like, what I hear the most is probably cut spending on non-essentials. Most of the folks in 3rd District feel very, very ignored. We haven't had much in the way of representation for the last 16 years. That's one of the things that brought me to the race this time. But the real thing is, I'm in construction. We've had 2 cases, 2 jobs, projects, well actually 3. 2 of them went away, where they applied for a building permit with city codes, and in the review process, the one that we just finished this week was for the lady that mails out all the books for Dolly Parton's DreamWorks. That took 14 months to get a building permit. That's ridiculous. When I talk to young folks in the district, they're concerned about jobs. They want to see better jobs coming to Knoxville. And our present administration appears to have no interest in bringing in those outside jobs. So many people come to Knoxville and they just become disillusioned and walk away. Smith & Wesson went to Maryville. We could have things like that here if we cooperate a bit with business. It's not that I'm asking to develop everything in Knoxville, obviously not, but we have got to grow our businesses in order to catch up to the growth in our population. You can't have all residential and no job. But that's what I hear mostly from the young folks. The older folks, again, it's like cut spending on non-essentials. They're very concerned typically on fixed income or whatever. The other thing that they're concerned about is crime, homelessness, why the mayor won't cooperate with immigration. I think we need to focus on public safety, but in a logical fashion. I actually have a lunch meeting tomorrow with the chief of police. I'm going to ask him a few embarrassing questions, and we'll see what kind of answers I get. Be glad to carry those answers back to you.
All right.
Homelessness is going to be a real tough deal. I think that, the mayor seems to want only to look at affordable housing, which is great, but when I'm asked that question and I try to differentiate, are they talking about affordable housing in the public sector or government subsistency or what's the deal there? Government can't set home values in the private sector. That can only be done by the market. If we try to tell somebody what you can sell a house for, you're just gonna, the city's gonna get sued and they're gonna lose.
All right. Let's get to, yep.
Okay. Let me get this one point out of the way. On the homelessness, I think we need to look at the base issues. That is typically alcohol abuse, drug abuse, victims of sexual assault, people with PTSD, and some people who just are simply mentally ill, and we don't have the facilities we need in Knoxville to help these folks. Some of this is going to have to come from the state level, but I think if we could flip a few seats in city council, we could do a few things. What I'd really like y'all to do is talk to your friends and neighbors. Let's flip a few seats and let's take a little common sense back to city council. Thank y'all very much.